Tell us what was the inspiration behind the book.
Well, number one, you're adding a G in there that doesn't exist.
Take it.
Taking the beaten path.
Okay.
So the beaten path, a lot of people tell me that that was misspelled when you're talking about the beaten path, because you're thinking the beaten path is one that has been well worn from people taking that path. In reality, when you look at the way this is spelled, it's the beaten path, meaning the ass beating that you're going to take trying to find your success. Because all success has ass beatings within it. There's not a single person that is successful has not taken some form of beating. Right. What's interesting to me when you understand the beating of life is that we don't remember our successes very often, right? Think about the deals where you won, right? You don't remember them so well, but you remember the ones you lost.
Yeah.
You remember them with unbelievable clarity. So what I found is that we retain what causes us pain. And what caused me to write this book goes all the way back to 2008, the crash of 2008. It was August 8th, 2008. Eight's always been my lucky number. Jumping on a Harley, heading out of town, going to get my head clear. At the time, my business was still working good. Even though the market was starting to implode, I was still, pulling in a good solid six figures. Had a net worth of, close to about $4 million. I was 190 pounds in the best shape of my life. And within 15 minutes into that ride, there was a 17-year-old driving his dad's truck that put me into another vehicle.
Wow.
At the 101, the 202, I went skidding to a stop into the Real Salado exit.
Wow.
And as a result of that accident, I found myself wheelchair bound with memory that would recycle every 3 to 4 minutes and a business that was just imploding. And I lost everything except for my house and a couple of vehicles. And as a result of that, I went into the hospital, 190 pounds, worth approximately $4 million. And I wheeled out in a wheelchair at 156 pounds with a negative net worth of 1.5 and a business that was completely obliterated. So when I started to rebuild that, I had to go through the process of reconstructing all those things and taking those phone calls from those creditors. I found that I was lucky. I mean, you guys who lived through that, you have creditors calling you and you're like, yeah, I lost my job or business is not good.
Right.
I had them call me and say, hey, what's going on? How come you haven't paid your bills? And I just shipped them my first week's, or faxed them my first week's medical bill for $1.7 million for the first week. They're like, okay, what can we do to help?
Right.
And I got help. It was actually we worked out to where I could get myself square with the world, started over. Well, in that start over, there was lessons that I retained because of all that pain. It was an enormous amount of pain. And it wasn't just physical pain. It was the mental pain. It was the trying to remember what was happening. Carrying around a notepad with notes of my life because I don't remember 3 minutes later what I just committed to. You have two realtors, my mom and then C.J. Irby with Coldwell Banker. They were both realtors that were still doing business. They would send me referrals. And when they would call me and say, hey, did you talk to that person? I'm like, what person? Get your pad, write this down.
Right.
And I would write it down, then I'd call that person and scratch it off and take notes. Sometimes I'd find something on my notepad not scratched off, so I'd make the call. Then the person's like, yeah, we just talked.
Oof.
I'm like, oh, what did we say? Because I got to take notes. And I had to explain to them why they're trusting a guy they were just referred to that didn't even remember them from 10 minutes ago. Right? So it was life lessons that I got there. So what am I going to do with these life lessons? So I started just typing on a what was it? It was a Samsung Galaxy 10 tablet. And I typed 370 pages of stuff to give to my kids. And then I'm at an event and somebody's talking about publishing a book. I'm like, I want to publish this. So I reached out to the person they recommended. They took it.